Hey guys, how's it going? Matt here with a vinyl haul. This is mostly about stuff that I picked up during Christmas time, a little before it as well, but mostly from then. Hope the quality is okay. I'm shooting on my iPhone because my DSLR it just stops recording for some reason. So gonna get right into it. First up is Rise Against Revolutions Per Minute. This is the 10-year reissue. It's on white vinyl. Um, Definitely my favorite album by Rise Against. I kind of the album that came after this, I still kind of hung around, but then by then they had kind of turned into a different band, so I kind of stopped listening to them. But this is an amazing record. It's still really, really good to listen to. It's kind of like a post-hardcore. If you haven't listened to it or just know their more recent stuff, this is a lot heavier and less radio friendly. It's very reading the liner notes. It has letters from, or I guess messages from the members of the band, and even Fat Mike from NoFX and Fat Records, who put this album out. It's very heavily inspired by 9/11 or post 9/11 America, so definitely heavier than their stuff that would come after it, but easily, it's definitely one of my favorite post-hardcore records, and definitely one that I would recommend checking out. Next up is The Promise Rings, Nothing Feels Good. This is another reissue that I think Jade Tree put out recently. I think they kind of re-released most of their stuff, or maybe all of The Promise Ring. This is on a cool splatter. I'll show it because it's cool. I don't even know what the base color of this would be. I guess it'd be like a yellowish peach looking color, but it has a lot of splatter. It actually really works good with the color scheme of the cover. So the Promise Ring is a band that I've kind of just recently gotten into, which is strange because I'm a big fan of mid '90s to late '90s, emo and the Midwestern emo stuff. So I just started getting into them. This is definitely my favorite album by them, but still really enjoying their stuff as I make my way through listening to more of it on a more regular basis. Next up is Straylight Runs. I think this is the self-titled. I think it's just, yeah, this is just regular. It's just self-titled. Their first album. This is actually this album. I love it, but it actually has a lot of just how an album can really just bring you back to a certain time. This is actually the first. My girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, bought this album for me when it came out. It was I think it came out around late '04, maybe 2005, and she got this for me. And not this, not the record, or anything like that, just the CD. But it's cool that stuff brings you back. You just remember that. I mean, this album that's for me is just, it brings me back to when her and I first met. We listened to this album quite a bit, and it's one of my favorites. This is, if you don't know, some of the members of the original lineup of Taking Back Sunday, who are now back in Taking Back Sunday. This is when they split. They kind of splintered off, and Straylight Run made a few albums, and John Nolan has made a few solo albums. But I think this is their peak. I love this album, and maybe it is the nostalgia factor as to why I feel that way. But this is an album that 10 plus years later, I can still listen to, and it doesn't feel dated at all. Next is The Starting Lines, The Early Years. This is kind of an EP collection of some of their stuff before their big record came out, which I'm drawing a blank on the name of. But this has some demo versions of some stuff on that, like The Drama Summer, and I think Cheek to Cheek is like a demo version of what would come on their album with The Best of Me, and which really kind of exploded, I guess, around '04 or so. This I actually got off of Shop Radiocast for very, very cheap. I think it was like $10 right around Christmas time when they were having quite a few sales. Yeah, Starting Line when I was a kid, I really, really enjoyed them. Not as much anymore. I think that type of music, especially the starting line, is great for your teenage years, but it doesn't really hold up. Excuse me, as I have hiccups. It doesn't really hold up as well, but it's still good. I was happy. I didn't have any starting line in my collection, and this was cheap enough that I thought to do it. So yeah, the early years EP. All right, next is an album, another reissue from one of my favorite bands of all time. It's Thursday's. This was the 15-year anniversary of Waiting, their debut full length. I think this was 15 years. It doesn't say it on the cover. I'm pretty sure that it was 15 years. So yeah, this came out. This I picked up also from Shop Radio Cast, and it was as well. I think it was only $10. It's on red vinyl, which is pretty nice. So I'll slide it out. So it's pure red, like magenta vinyl, and then it came with a 7-inch of some demos as well. This was split. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The full length, as I look at that one now, was a split of red and white. I only pulled out the white side. So there you go. So this, and then this had some demos of the songs that would be on Waiting. Not my favorite Thursday album. I still like the two albums that came after it, of Full Collapse and War All the Time, which I still need War All the Time. I don't have on vinyl. That's kind of skyrocketed quite a bit on Discogs, which is kind of frustrating. So it's still a pretty good Thursday album. But like I said, not my favorites. Those would become the next two. But this has some good stuff on it as well, and the packaging is cool. It's nice to get some collectors, or I guess some reissues that pack more than I guess the original would have. Not that I wouldn't prefer the original, but I like having the extras from these reissues. And lastly is one of my favorite albums of 2015. This is the self-titled album of Dogs on Acid. This is off of Jade Tree as well. And this comes on, I think it was red. Yes. So that's on red vinyl. Just a really good. I know that some of the members are from Algernon Caldwaller. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. It's part of, I guess, some of the members from some pretty big bands of the emo revival. I think they're from Philly, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong though, but I want to say they're from the Philadelphia area. Just really good, indie alternative. Again, the emo revival type of thing. Really good. It kind of took me by surprise. I actually didn't listen to them until Off the Record, easily my favorite channel on YouTube in the VC, because I share, at least I feel like, some similar interests in music as he. I get some recommendations from him from what he picks up, and he recommended this, so I checked it out and I loved it, so I picked it up on vinyl. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon.